So thanks for joining. What I have displayed, and you are looking at something that says webinar protocols, right? Not displaying anything I shouldn't be. Um, you are looking at a copy of a memo that you were supposed to have read, and that if you have not read, this little, summary is not intended to be a substitute for. It's intended to be a highlight of, a celebration of, if you will. Um, So, notwithstanding, we're going over it now. Please read it at some point soon. If you have questions after today, feel free to hit me anytime, figuratively. Um, this memo, I went through it and I highlighted certain portions that I wanted to emphasize. I am making, I've made a baseline assumption that you actually have looked at it. So I'm going to go through it pretty quickly. But as I do, if you see words on the page that you want to talk about, just raise your voice. Don't raise your hand, I won't see it. Well, first of all, most of you aren't on camera. But even if you are, I won't see it. Looking at the memo so I can talk to you about it. Um, so raise, just interject. So if you're new to our little ecosystem, every webinar we do is part of a series, and every series has episodes, so a webinar equals an episode. Every series, with very rare exception, has a single moderator. Series are usually 3, 4, 5 episodes. We do it that way so that we can stay sane. We meaning the Financial Poise staff, because it's a hell of a lot easier interfacing with a single moderator on 3 or 4 episodes and a different moderator for every episode. The moderator provides continuity, so that if people do sign up for multiple episodes, viewers that is, attendees, they see the same face asking the questions. Every episode has 3 to 4 panelists, three plus the moderator, and with very rare exception, every buddy on the panel needs to be from a different firm. We try to have at least one lawyer on every panel, every episode, and we try to have at least one non-lawyer on every episode. Most of our episodes have multiple lawyers. Um, you are part of our faculty. Congratulations. If you're a speaker on our webinars or a writer of our articles, you are part of our faculty. Every webinar is conducted pursuant to a question outline. The question outline is what dictates the flow of the webinar. A moderator should always have prepared about minimum of about 20 questions. Maybe you don't get past more than the first 7 or 8, and that's okay. But you should have the questions written so that you don't run out. And a slide deck. We've got lots of precedent for our moderators to create slide decks. We've got precedent question outlines too, but we urge, beg, ask you never to just recycle an old question outline. That's stupid. You will end up not liking it either. The question outline, if you're a moderator, should be yours. Plus, if you're a panelist, and there are lots of panelists on this little training we're doing right now, as moderator, you have to get your draft question outline and your draft slide deck to your panels in sufficiently respectful time so that they can offer you intelligent comments, edits, that kind of thing. Typically, if I'm moderating a series, I will always say to the panel, here is my draft question outline. What questions did I forget to ask? What questions am I asking in a stupid way? What questions am I asking too late, too early, that kind of thing. The other operative document for all our webinars is a one sheet. The one sheet is what forms the marketing message for all the webinars. So the what's the name of our partner? It used to be Thomson Reuters West Legal Ed, but it was sold to Legal Edge. Serify's Legal Edge is our CLE partner, CPE partner, and main marketing partner. So Serify and Financial Poise staff use these one sheets to create all the marketing materials a summary of the series, a summary of the episodes. And so the moderator has got to take a last look at the one sheet before he or she finalizes the question outline and slide deck to make sure that among the topics, subjects, content being covered is at least what's mentioned in the one sheet. Otherwise, we're not keeping our promise to the audience. Hey, look, that's what my note says on the side if you're looking at the screen. Our promise to our audience is the one sheet. We use the term premiere date to refer to the day that the specific webinar episode is scheduled to take place live. After that, it's put on demand, both on Legal Edge and on Financial Poise, by Financial Poise on its YouTube channel and on its website. So we've got a premiere date and a Financial Poise on demand release date. And they mean separate things. We market both. We no longer charge anybody who wants to watch a webinar for on YouTube or on the website without CLE or without CPE. They can watch the whole damn thing, download the slide deck, and pay nothing. We're charging for the CLE and CPE. We made that decision last year for a variety of reasons, including thinking that it was better for faculty because it gives you the ability to share what you're doing with people without implicitly causing them to have to maybe pay something. We are not interested in, your money, your firm's money, or the money of your clients' referral sources, that kind of thing. We make the company makes money by selling the webinars for CLE and CPE, and the traffic they generate is an indirect source of revenue. Thank you very much. What else? Oh, another new thing we're doing, we started last year. Every faculty member, again, speakers plus moderator, panelists plus moderator, after a webinar is released on demand, released on demand, so it's available on YouTube. So if I'm Bob and I was on a webinar and I look at it on YouTube and I'm like, oh shit, I looked really good and I sounded really smart somehow from the 41st minute to the 43rd minute and 30 seconds of a webinar, I can send an email to Financial Poise saying, hey, would you cut a clip of 40 minutes to 43 minutes and 30 seconds for me? And the staff will send one clip to each person that asks of their choice if you ask, gratis. But they're not sending you a file, they're sending you a link to the YouTube channel, because we don't want you just sharing a file. We want people forced to come to the YouTube channel to see the clip. They'll just be directed right to your clip. But hopefully once they're there, maybe they'll check out more. So that's sort of the balance we decided on to, provide value, but also to get something out of it. Panelists might be a panelist on just one episode in a series, might be a panelist on all the episodes in a series, or somewhere in between. That's largely up to the moderator, if the moderator is the one staffing. Most of our moderators like to staff parts of their, most of our moderators tend to say, look, I'd like to staff 2 of the seats, but I don't really have a third person. We don't really care one way or the other. We'll staff the whole thing, we'll staff none of it, whatever the moderator wants to do. Let's see. And again, raise your voice with questions, comments. You'll get less sick of my voice that slower. All right, I'm going to keep going. Let's see. Everybody on this training should have already received calendar invites for all of the webinars they're speaking on in 2026. There could be more webinars scheduled for 2026, in which case we typically communicate that through our LinkedIn group, or sort of just word of mouth. It's whoever we think of. But we always put new opportunities on the LinkedIn group. But all of the webinars, you're not on the line because you might be a speaker later on a webinar that doesn't yet exist. You're on the line here with me because you're definitely on one or more webinar, and so you should have calendar invites for those. If you're a moderator, we again really ask you to reach out to your panelists well ahead of the webinar. I think some of our most tenured moderators reach out way before 35 days because we've got webinars scheduled next December, and they'll reach out now just to say hi. And but at a minimum, 35 days before the premiere of your first episode and about 28 days, it doesn't say it right here, but I think it's says it somewhere, a little bit less time if it's your second episode or after. Let's see. Oh, and that may not be possible for webinars premiering in January, February. We understand that. The basic flow of financial poise webinar. Oh, so later in this memo is a link to training, a link to a sample webinar. I don't know which webinar it is, but it's a webinar we thought that was pretty decent that demonstrates the ideal flow of a webinar, much to the contrary of what's going on here, where I'm just talking. Our panelists are not supposed to talk for more than about 2 or 3 minutes without being interrupted by the moderator. We don't want panelists interrupting each other. We want the moderator to play the role of moderator, and the moderator should be not letting anyone talk for more than 2 or 3 minutes straight without an interruption. What's the interruption? It could be, thanks, Mo. Panelists, what do you think? It's never, thanks, Mo. Curly, what do you think? Because that could put Curly on the spot, and that's not cool. That's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to make everybody look good. So the question outline will assign, and panelists should have plenty of time to give input. I don't want question 19. Or please, could I have question 7? But in the first instance, the moderator assigns the questions, usually pretty randomly, not randomly, but arbitrarily in an ABC format so that, everybody, so hopefully, Mo talks a lot, then Curly talks a lot, then Larry talks a lot, then back to Mo. Of course, a lot is relative because I just said 2 or 3 minutes. And then when Mo's done, or when the moderator decides Mo is done, because Mo is going up to 2 or 3 minutes, the moderator will say, again, one of two things. Panelists, what do you think? So they have the opportunity, but not the burden of weighing in. Or the moderator can prove to the audience that he or she is smart by showing off some substantive knowledge by saying, well, how about this? And it will ask a question that is not on the written question outline, but is the product of the moderator's active listening. The moderator absolutely should not be multitasking during these webinars. The moderator's got a big job. The moderator has to listen actively so they can ask follow-up questions that were not on the question outline. And again, they won't ask them of any one person. They'll say, panel, what do you think of blah, blah, blah? And before anyone has a chance to answer, the moderator can answer their own question if they want. Or kind of like opposite of Jeopardy, they can just put it in the form of a statement. It doesn't have to be a question. I'll take a sip of a drink. You should stay hydrated during these things. Okay, what else? So moderator asks question 1, offers to get input from the others, might have a follow-up question that is not on the outline, and then moves on to the next question, the next, scripted question. What else? We like the moderators to ask the questions. We don't like the panelists to like you're talking to a judge. If I'm a panelist, then I want to ask a question of the guy that just spoke. I kind of direct it to the moderator instead. It makes a difference for reasons I don't have time to explain. So what else? 11, moderator Lucy has a big job. I already talked about that. Watching the clock. Oh, turning the slide deck. So the slide deck has to be a good solid slide deck or the damn thing won't get CLE or CPE. It's also a memorialization of, people walk away with a memory of what was said, but they walk away with a, physical question, slide deck that they're going to remember better. So it's in everybody's, and all your names are on it, your bios are in it. So it's in your mutual interest to make sure it's decent. During the webinar, we don't conduct our webinars by like walking through the slide deck. Quite the opposite. We stick to the question outline before the webinar, like a day before the webinar, after the slide deck is final and after the question outline is final. The moderator should take her copy of the question outline and write down what slides relate to what questions, if any. So question 1, is there any slide that relates to question 1? No? Okay, I won't write anything down. Question 2, are there any slides that relate to question 2? Yeah, actually slides 11 and 13 speak to question 2. Write down 11 and 13. That way, during the webinar, the moderator will say, okay, Amos, we're assuming Amos is a panelist. Okay, Amos. Next question to you, audience. You may want to turn to slides number 11 and 13. And as the moderator says that, the moderator should turn to slides 11 and 13. For that reason, we don't keep our slide decks on presentation view. We keep the little, what are they called? The little things on the side so you can see tiny little versions of each slide ahead of time so that you can just
Thumbnail.
Thank you. The thumbnail, because we don't want a moderator to have to scroll through 27 slides 10 times. So we keep the thumbnails open so you can just click on it. Use a wired internet connection if at all possible. You sit in a quiet room. Keep your phone silenced. Don't do it while you're moving, like walking. You'll be forever barred from our webinars. Like, seriously, this is my baby. I built this thing. I'm proud of it. We don't ask for your money. We get really good, audience, numbers. And there's some quid pro quos. So, we've got some basic decorum rules. Speaking of which, dress code is business casual. You definitely shouldn't be wearing a sweatshirt like I'm wearing. You probably shouldn't be wearing a suit and tie either. Let's see, 1 hour long. Almost all our webinars, like I said, are 1 hour long. 1 hour long. There are rare exceptions, but you would know that well in advance. We ask you to join 20 minutes ahead of time, but not so secret is the fact that 10 minutes ahead of time is fine. If you are somebody that is really bad with technology, or it's your very first Financial Ploys webinar, or if you've got other technical concerns, then join 20 minutes early. Please do not join in the last, signing on 5 minutes early is acceptable if you can't avoid it. Signing on after that is really not a good idea. And it's not fair to everybody else, your fellow speakers. Let's see. Oh, bios. So one of the solid rules in place is we do not read bios. We do not, we actually make a point. Our moderators are supposed to say something to the effect of, audience, we know you're not here to listen to infomercials. We're going to jump right in. But if you want to see our speakers' bios, they're on slide 7, or they're never on slide 7, slide whatever. And what the moderator is supposed to say is John Doe is an attorney and it's funny. You say John Doe is supposed to be such is it really a common name, or is it known not to be common? Have you ever met a John Doe? I'm sorry, non sequiturs. Don't do that on the webinar. See how silly it sounds? So you, as a moderator, you say John Doe is an attorney and he's a partner at XYZ firm in Los Angeles. That's it. No more. And if panelists are caught trying to self-puff, then they'll be disinvited. We don't like it. It's stupid. It doesn't do anything. The audience doesn't like it. If you do well on the webinar, the bios are right there. The bios also are on the website. We do a lot of marketing both before the live premiere and before the on-demand premiere. We know you're doing this in part to get your name out there, but reading bios at the beginning of the webinar is just a way to turn off the audience. What have I not said? Let's see. Slide sorter view. Not every question has a corresponding slide. Not every slide has a corresponding question. That's fine. They should kind of both stand on their own. Try to avoid mentioning the fact that there even is a question outline. We want to create the illusion that the moderator has not shared these questions at all with the panelists, because that makes the panelists look all that more impressive. So some people say, well, I know we're going to get to this later. No, you don't. You don't know anything. The day of your webinar, before your webinar begins, standard stuff, go potty. Preparing for a webinar, I already talked about that. Oh, there's the 35 and 27 days respectively. Lots of precedent. If you are a moderator creating a new series from whole cloth, or if you do not like the slide deck that exists and you don't want to simply edit it and modify it, then you are strongly encouraged, to use AI if you know how to, because it's really awesome for that kind of thing, at least for a first draft. I should say only for a first draft. And you are also encouraged to not start with a PowerPoint. We use Google Slides, but not start with either, but start with a Word document where you say 1, 2, 3, 4. Each of those is a title of a slide. ABCs are your bullet points, little I, little double I. Those are your sub bullet points. Circulate that to your panelists. Let them edit in track changes. That document, it is way more efficient than trying to do it through, in PowerPoint form. Once you get it substantively solid, you can send it to one of the Financial Poise staffers, and they will lickety split, throw it into our boilerplate template slide deck format. You want your secretary to do that, that's fine. Just use our format, or we're just going to redo it. Let's see. Questions, comments, thoughts? I'll keep going. Again, the one sheet, it absolutely will not be comprehensive. The deck and the question outline will be far more comprehensive than what is promised on the one sheet, but we do need to keep the promise on the one sheet. Again, never rely on a prior year's question outline. Draft it new. It should, just drip off your fingertips. It's what you do. Panelists are encouraged not to have the slide deck in front of them during the webinar. It's just an unnecessary complication. What I do is I will take pretty extensive, once the question outline is finalized, and I have it as a Word document because the moderator sent it to me, I'll probably put lots of notes in the question outline so I can look at that while I'm talking. You'll receive connection information to the webinar and a question link. During the webinar, we typically don't take questions from the audience. A moderator could if they really wanted to, but they'd have to talk to staff ahead of time to arrange that, because even though the technology is there, we kind of just void it out. We find that keeping our webinars to a mere hour is very difficult as it is. And also audience members, it introduces an uncertainty that we prefer not to have. And often the audience doesn't even ask questions anyway. Our webinars typically, I think if you look at averages, we get about 50 people live and at least like 500 people on demand within the first 6 months or so. And some of the more popular series have done, do like several thousand within the first 6 months or so. But the audience, and you don't see the audience, which is sometimes disturbing to new speakers. But for a variety of reasons, we do not, kind of like this. If we're on a webinar, you're not going to see the audience. You'll see each other, the panel, the faculty for that webinar. We ask for contact information for your internal marketing, business development people so that they can help promote the webinar as much as they want to. We kind of view that as a win-win, right? When we promote the webinar, we can't help but promote you. And when you promote yourselves on the webinar, your firms do, you can't help but promote us. So we'd like to work with your business development people on that. And truth be known, we have a division, an affiliate company, the National Law Review, which is it is a pay model. A firm pays a few $1,000s a year, and in exchange, the National Law Review will syndicate as much of its content as it wants within a year. So anything that the firm publishes on its website in terms of blog posts or articles that people have written, the National Law Review will syndicate at the firm's request. Some firms syndicate hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of articles. And so at some point, the idea is that our marketing people might at some point try to engage your marketing people in, hey, have you ever thought about a National Law Review, being a publishing partner with National Law Review? But it's not a lot. It's very soft. It's respectful. It's not in your face. Your marketing people aren't going to get slammed with emails after emails. It's probably like once a year. Okay, this part of the little outline is all the different links you're supposed to please click. And if you haven't done something, do it. Join our LinkedIn group and sign up for our newsletter, watch short clips, etc. And we're just about done. I'm just about out of time, although I'll stay around for questions if there are questions. But read this memo. Don't rely on my, please. And here's a bunch more. Oh, the rest of it. Oh, CLE and CPE, how you get your CLE and CPE for participating. Almost all of our series has one or the other or both. Most have both. The big caveat is, and this has been true from the beginning of time for us, our Legal Edge, our CLE CPE marketing partner, will only give a speaker 1 credit. So it's up to the speaker to look at the rules within her or his states to say, oh, as a speaker, so I deserve more than 1 attendance credit. I deserve whatever, the formula is in your state. And Legal Edge will only give you a participation credit, and you need to keep in your file, your question outline and your slide deck in case you're ever audited. Or suppose I don't. But I should, and you should, and then you put down the actual credit you deserve. Let's see. Oh, and if people need to go, they should just hang up without saying anything because I am over, but I'll be done in a couple moments. After the webinar premieres and right after I think right after it's released on demand, you'll have an opportunity to be quoted in an article. So the Financial Poise staff puts together an article about each and every webinar that we produce. They'll do a first draft by listening to by reading the transcript and or listening to the webinar. They'll do a first draft. They'll take the liberty of including some quotes, 1 quote for each of you at least. I think maybe just 1 period. You can review that, completely change it, make up a new quote, whatever. It doesn't purport to be an article reporting on the webinar. It purports to be an article about the topic. And so if you're quoted, it's not like you had to be quoted during the webinar saying that. Many interviews these days are conducted by email. People are sent questions. So it's the same thing. So you can feel free to insert self-serving quotes, and as long as they're not too, over the edge, we'll include them. And that gets published on both the National Law Review and either Financial Poise or Daily DAC, depending on the topic. If you don't know what Daily DAC is, it's another website we own and run about bankruptcy, distress, insolvency type stuff. Legal Edge. What else do I have to say here? What is urgent? What is important? If you were a moderator, you guys have probably all done this. All of our spots are mostly, we probably have of the 130-ish webinars we have planned for the year. And there's, moderator plus at least 3 panelists for each one. We might have, I don't know, less than 10% open seats still for any of them. But some moderators, there still are some open seats, and you can fill them, we can fill them. We're not too concerned because there's just not that many. The general rules for panelist selection are, I went through some of them. Oh, last and maybe least, but not least, I should say. We take the view that your participation, we stopped sending faculty agreements a long time ago, like 2 years ago, I think. So by participating, you are agreeing to this, and to belt and suspender the enforceability of that, you have to submit your bio and your photo so you can be on our website as faculty, and you can have that in your slide deck for your webinar. And you can't hit submit unless you click a button saying you agree to this. So you won't be able to speak, and we won't let you speak unless we see the bio in the deck. So this is written in a way that's intended to be pretty easy and nobody has ever pushed back on this yet. Doesn't mean you can't, but if you do, you should let somebody at Financial Poise know sooner than later. But it's intended to be pretty easy to sign. That's it. That's all I got. Thank you for coming.